here at New Technology High School. October 1st, 2017, Las Vegas, Nevada, 58 people murdered. June 12th, 2016, Orlando, Florida, 49 people murdered. April 16th, 2007, Blacksburg, Virginia, 32 people murdered. December 14th, 2012, Newtown, Connecticut, 27 people murdered. And November 5th, 2017, Sutherland Springs, Texas, 25 people and an unborn child murdered. I am only 17 years old, and I have lived through all 5 of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. As a country, as a democracy, as a society, we let this happen. Whenever a mass shooting occurs, the debate about guns is once again sparked into the public eye. However, our politicians, listening to the outcries of their people, give us their condolences and then always follow up with a, "Now is not the time to face this issue." And then when time passes and the mass shooting is no longer the most current news, the outcries of the people are silenced, and the families of those who lost a loved one are left mourning unjustly until another major tragedy occurs and we fight the same fight all over again. On that note, I would like to thank the students and staff from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, who lost 17 of their own and have endured great trauma since February 14th of 2018. Thank you for not allowing this issue to die like we are so used to letting it. Thank you for putting yourselves as the face of this issue, despite the number of faces that were ripped away from you and your community. The resilience and courage shown from the students in your community has inspired our community and our nation to do the same and act the same. And their persistence is the reason why any of us are here today. First, I think it's important to set the stage in a way that can bridge the gap between those in favor and those opposed to gun control. Nobody here is saying no guns. I believe in my and all of your right to bear arms in order to protect yourselves. However, there is no denying that times have changed since the Second Amendment was written by our forefathers. They could have never imagined what their ambiguously worded amendment could mean 200 years later. In those days, a well-trained soldier could load and fire 2 to 3 times a minute, which doesn't even take into account the gunpowder fouling that made it harder to reload and fire each time. Now let's take a look at our weaponry. The AR-15, a weapon that has proven itself to be capable of killing dozens of people in a matter of minutes. The technology and machinery has developed to fit our 21st century lifestyle, but our Second Amendment has not. It stays history, yet we defend it like it relates to us today, but it doesn't, not in the way that it used to. What is not debatable, however, are the famous words also written by Thomas Jefferson and signed by our forefathers. The preamble to the Declaration of Independence, which states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The victims of Parkland, Florida, the victims from Las Vegas, the three women from our hometown of Yountville, and to anyone who has lost a life due to gun violence, had their unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness ripped away from them. The Declaration of Independence declares that we are all endowed by our Creator. Keep that in mind, because somehow, some way, special interests such as the NRA, politicians swayed by the gun lobby, government itself has asserted itself to be more predominant, more important than the Creator and the great endowment of our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I say this to show that the way out of this predicament, The way to move beyond it once and for all is by each side acknowledging the other positions and then coming up with a reasonable compromise. We can maintain the rights to bear arms, but we don't have to accept the rights to bear weapons of mass destruction whose only purpose is to rob us of our unalienable rights to life. We should not accept fear so deeply rooted in our hearts that our pursuit of happiness is stolen from us, like it was stolen from the families, friends, and communities who lost a loved one to gun violence. Why are the rights of the non-compromising extreme Second Amendment enthusiast or the profit incentives of the companies that make these weapons more important than our First Amendment rights, our rights to life? As a teenager, I am accused of letting my emotions dictate my decisions and my opinions. But my emotions are real and my emotions are valid because my emotions are backed up by the numbers. It is no mystery or coincidence that compared to any other developed country, the US has the highest rate of gun violence. Because the more guns we have, the more gun violence we have, and that algorithm is simple. I actually heard this fact while watching Bill Maher last night, and I had to fact check it myself because I couldn't see how it was possible. According to the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, since 1968, more than 1.5 million U.S. citizens have died as a result of guns. The Department of Veterans Affairs states that 1.2 million Americans have been killed in conflicts of war. What this means is that guns have killed more Americans over the last 50 years than all the U.S. wars put together. That wasn't my emotions talking, that is fact. Our numbers and rates haven't gone down, they've only gone up. And that's because we haven't made any significant changes. Gun violence in big cities like Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, and Oakland is already a norm. When students hear about a school shooting, instead of being in shock or panic, we think, oh, another one? This is the country our legislators are creating, and this is the country our politicians are okay with. And please keep in mind, this isn't a political issue, because at the end of the day, a bullet doesn't care if you are red or blue. Any one of us can be next, and that is the harsh reality our government has allowed us to establish. To those who have the power to make a change, but refuse to help our cause, you should probably start helping us dig some more graves then, because we all know it isn't a matter of if gun violence, if a mass shooting, if a school shooting will happen again. It is a matter of when it will happen again, where it will happen again, and who will be the unlucky ones that get their rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness ripped away from them again. Senator Feinstein listed that our options for gun control were an assault weapons ban, better and more thorough background checks, banning of bump stocks, limiting purchases of magazines, and to be provided with legal processes for securing a restraining order when someone has a mental illness. We want all of it. For the lives lost, that is our compromise. When it is our turn to vote, we will remember who put us first and who put money donated to them from the NRA first. This generation will make sure we get our way so that no other generation has to say goodbye to as many students, families, and loved ones as we have. These tragedies have taught us how to mourn and grieve. The fear and uncertainty created has taught us how to protect ourselves from the unexpected and to not be surprised when it happens. And you politicians who lie to our faces and pretend to put us first have taught us how to fight for what we believe in until we make the change we want to see in the world. And I guarantee you, we will be the change we want to see in the world. Thank you.